What do you remember as a match with Hardcore Holly?
Um, Bob was stiff, but see, a lot of it, the fun part, I'd say a lot of my fun matches were guys because they wrestled old school.
Yeah.
They wrestled old school. It wasn't all high spots and flipper. Loved the Hardys to death. I loved Edge and Christian to death. I still talk to Matt, but a lot of Matt's calmed down a lot. He's got a lot of psychology in his matches now. But when they first came up, it was just flipping high spots that made no sense. And I was brought up with a storyline. You know, the match had to make sense, the psychology of what you were doing and stuff like that. So Bob's old school. So I love Bob. Got along with him great. And again, nothing bad to say. He did awesome, but it was stiff. Bob's stiff as hell. But then again, I'm stiff. I like people used to complain, but I like that. I want to hit somebody. I want to feel it. I want to feel them. I want to feel them hit me too. So I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Did you like doing the hardcore matches?
I wasn't crazy about it, but I would do them. Yeah, I'd do whatever they wanted me to do. Wasn't crazy about it. I wasn't crazy about getting hit in the head with a pan or a cookie dish or a chair or a stop sign or whatever, but I did it.
Yeah.
I did whatever they wanted me to do. It didn't matter to me because I was getting paid. That's how I looked at it.
Yeah. You mentioned Vince Russo earlier, and it sounded like you liked him a lot when you were there. Did he ever try and recruit you to jump over to WCW when he was there?
No. What happened with Vince Russo was, what happened at the end with me was they said they did the whole, and I'm sure you'll probably get to this later, they did the whole D-Lo thing with Tiger Ali Singh with the turbans and all that bullshit. And Tiger got hurt, and they said, okay, well, we're going to send you guys home until he's better. And D-Lo and I begged, just let us do house shows. He wasn't talking anymore because he was mad at the people for disrespecting him. Let us go out there and get that angle over. And when he's ready to come back, they're like, no. Because I'm like, I was just off for 6 months. I don't want to be off again.
Yeah.
You know, we're finally back on TV. We're finally doing something. D-Lo and I were gelling. Like, you know, D-Lo and I have been friends since high school. Like, we're gelling. Just let us go. They're like, no. So then all of a sudden they said, I had about 9 months left on my contract, I guess, 8 months. And they said, all right, we're sending you to Puerto Rico. Want you to get back in ring shape to bring you back up to TV. I'm like, all right, great. So I said, well, you know, we got down there, we did a couple of shows, we didn't get paid yet. So we called the office, like, well, what about pay? Like, well, you're getting a weekly check. I'm like, yeah, but I have a mortgage in New Jersey I'm paying. I have expenses there. Plus now you're making me live down here. Like, I'm paying double mortgage, stuff like that. They're like, yeah, well, this is part of the deal. So I guess the whole thing with that was, you know, we did all that. And then this was in now July of 01. They were in Philly doing TV. And I said, can I come up? Let me do a dark match and get me back on TV now. So they said, okay, fine. So I went up, I did TV, I had a great match up there. Next night was in Baltimore. I sat down with JR and I said, all right, JR, I said, so what's the deal? You know, when you bringing us back? We've been down there almost 6 months now. You know, I'm almost going in debt because you're only giving me my little bit of money.
You were getting paid at all when you were down there?
I was getting my guarantee.
But
my guarantee I was basically paying 2 mortgages. It was nothing like, if I was on the road, my guarantee was meaningless.
Yeah.
But when I was not working, my guarantee was great. But you know, now I'm down and trying to survive in Puerto Rico, plus taking care of a house in New Jersey. You know, it was tough. So he said to me, he goes, well, creative doesn't really know what to do with you. And I went, what are you talking about? He goes, we don't really know who Chaz is. And I go, I don't know who Chaz is. I said, you got me doing Headbanger, you got me doing a Sister of Love, you got me doing Beaver Cleavage. I said, then you tell me to go out and be Chaz. And I'm like, I don't know who that is. Like, I didn't know what to do. So he goes, well, creative doesn't know what to do with you. And I go, great, let me go back to being Mosh. Everyone knows Mosh. It's a character. It's something that comes natural to me to be goofy and silly. And, you know, yeah, but that's Headbangers. That's a tag team. I'm like, so let me do it on my own. Let me take Mosh and recreate it. No, we'll see what we can do. Go back to Puerto Rico. We'll talk to you. So I'm like, all right, go back to Puerto Rico for 3 more weeks. And I go, is creative doing anything with me? He goes, no, they can't come with it. I said, I'm leaving then. So I went home. And that's basically when they said, unless we can come up with something for you when your contract expires in January, we're not re-signing you unless you come up with something. So in the meanwhile, I'm thinking, okay, let me keep sending in ideas. I'm watching Raw every week. Where can I fit in here? Where can I fit in there? That's when DDP was there doing that big smile thing. So I said, oh, here's a cool thing where I can get involved in it. I send this big idea in about having a counterpart come in and try and get in with DDP. And they're like, yeah. They're like, this is great. Yeah, this is a great idea. Let's see how we do it. 2 weeks later, Christian's doing it with DDP on TV. I'm like, you're killing me. So in the meanwhile now, WCW was gone. Vince Russo was just getting his foot in the door with TNA. When TNA was just to start the talks, they were doing some stuff overseas, over in Australia, with what's his name, Jeremy
Boresh,
whatever his name is. Yeah, doing all that stuff. So Vince calls me up. He goes, Chaz, they're not using you. How about you come and go on these tours? I'm like, great. I'm like, but I'm still under contract. I'm like, help me here. I don't know what to do. He goes, so you have to let you out of your contract. He goes, ask them to pay you what they owe you and let you out. I'm like, okay. So I called JR and I go, can you just pay me and release me? Since you're not re-signing me, at this point it was October. I said, my contract's up in January. You've already told me you're not re-signing me. Will you just release me? And he goes, well, what are your plans? I said, well, I want to do other things. I just don't want to sit here. I want to go and do other things. And I said, can you pay me what you owe me and just let me go? And he goes, no. And I said, all right, well, I have an opportunity, I said, to go somewhere else and work. Can I go do that then? If you do that, you're in breach of contract, and then we don't have to pay you. And I'm like, well, what's the big deal? If you're not going to re-sign me, why can't I just go and do it? And if you keep paying me anyway, like, just let me go do it then.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, if you get hurt and you're under contract with us, then you could hold us liable. I said, I'll sign a form that says you're not liable for something. Send it to me now. I want to go work. Like, you're telling me I'm done with you, with WWF is done with me. I'm done with that. I want to move on to fucking something else, and you're not letting me do it. And then I guess, again, another thing, I probably should have said, you know what, fuck it, I'm leaving. Don't pay me then, and go in off there and make money. But I guess in the back of my mind, I still thought if I keep sending in ideas, something's going to catch, and they're going to re-sign me.
Yeah.
And then they didn't. And then right after that is when I moved to Florida. I kind of lost contact with Vince. And then TNA was starting, but they weren't really running that much when they first started. So I couldn't really, and they were in Nashville then. They weren't in Orlando. They were in Nashville. And Vince was like, look, you're lucky to work once or twice a month. We're just getting started. You're not really going to make any money. I had just moved to Florida. I was having a house built. I was getting ready to get married and start a family, and I couldn't. I had to go get another job. So that's why I kind of like got away from the business for a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's kind of happened with Vince and him. He never had a chance to get me in WCW because I was under contract and he was there, and then, Vince bought him out.
Gotcha. There was an ex-WWE writer. I don't know if you heard about this or if somebody said this to you. There's an ex-WWE writer. I forget what his name is, but he does a blog. And he said that there was a lot of commotion because at WrestleMania 17, you guys, you and Glenn did an interview on WWE.com where you gave away the result of the Austin Rock match. He said that you guys did an interview and somebody said, who do you think is going to win between Austin and Rock? And one of you guys said, Austin's going to win. Austin's going to win because we're in Texas and The Rock's leaving to film a movie. And he said that like everybody was scrambling back there because they're like, holy crap, I give away.
If that was said, it was probably Glenn.
Yeah.
But it was probably said more as a joke. I mean, I never knew any of the finishes.
Yeah.
But if it was, it would have came from him because that's something he would have said to try to be funny.
Oh, okay.
He'd be like, look, we're in Texas. Of course Stone Cold's going over, and everyone knows Rocky's going to do a movie, so what do you think? Yeah. So if it was said, it was probably said like that.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't malicious at all. And that was part of Glenn just being an asshole, not knowing when to shut up.
So is something you guys get any heat for or anything like that?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Yeah.
No.
The writer said that everybody was scrambling, but then nobody said anything to them from the office, so they figured everything just died down.
Yeah, so I've never heard anything about it.
Anybody say anything to you guys?
Watch thousands of exclusive shoot interviews right now on TitleMatchNetwork.com.